All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys. So big gap up this morning off Nvidia earnings. Big fade throughout the day. That was today's theme. You have a massive red candle here on SPY and QQQ. That is almost a 30-point peak to trough candlestick right there. I know it looks scary. I'm just going to tell you guys, downside is likely very limited from exactly right here. We are approaching the weekly 21 EMA on both QQQ here and SPY. Hopefully they let you down there tomorrow. All right, you get one more day of downside. VIX is likely going to continue spiking here if, you know, we're going to test those things, the weekly 21s on SPY and QQ. VIX is likely going to break above 28.99. At that point, the daily RSI, I mean, as of right now, it's already it's an overbought territory. When it gets this high, guys, you know, within a few sessions, you are looking for VIX to start cooling off. The fact that VIX is spiking like this, right as we're coming into that key area we've been watching here, we have been, you know, expecting a move down into the 21 EMA. That's what we were looking for earlier in the week. Nvidia just gave you the gap up there. You know, I was thinking the bottom was going to be putting around Nvidia. I didn't know exactly how it was going to be shaping up, whether, you know, Nvidia was going to bring you, you know, just kind of gap you up and you were going to gap and go. You're going to take out previous week's high and you're just going to start pushing back up. Or if it was going to be, you know, tanking the market, giving you the overnight gap down, give you a little capitulation sell going on. That was neither was the case. Neither was the case at all. They did not gap you and go. They gapped you up and gave back the whole move and way more here. And now I do think we're going to be coming a little bit lower, but again, SPY and QQ are coming into those weekly 21s. So market, hey, it's still yeah, it's still bottoming around this Nvidia event. I'm thinking either tomorrow or Monday. Okay, why? Because VIX is why. We're also coming into the weekly 21 on SPY and QQQ. So there's that. And I'm actually going to point out over here on QQQ. Come over here. Okay, come over here. These are the two times recently where the 21 EMA has not held on that, you know, first weekly test there. But I do want to point out on both of those weeks, you know, from that weekly low, you did have a 3% bounce from that week's low up into, you know, the next week's high. And then over here is the same thing. From that week's low, you had a 4% bounce up into that next week's high. So it looks like you got that bounce out of the way at the start of the week on both these things. So no matter what, guys, you are looking for buyers stepping in this area or looking for a decent bounce here. Whether you come a little bit lower down to 580, you know, or whether honestly be right around here. I'm just going to tell you for, you know, a fact, yeah, this was the exact spot we were watching ahead of time. Now, that being said, I'm not going to tell you it looks great here. Okay, I'm not. I would like them to sell you down a little bit more here. Ideally, guys, you know, QQQ takes out 580 and SPY over here we see 640 650 over here on SPY. That would be ideal. That would give VIX, you know, likely get it over 30 bucks there. I mean, it's not bucks, but we'd get a VIX of 30. And yeah, that's, you know, if you just come back over here to VIX, you can see, yeah, price does not spend a lot of time above 30. It just really does not. Within 1 to 2 sessions, you're having capitulation. All right, that's really what that's going to be telling us if we see this become the case. Talking about in yesterday's video how, you know, ideally it would happen with Nvidia there. Actually, I've been talking about the last few videos this week. But yeah, you had the gap up in the overnight session there yesterday in the after hour session, and yeah, it completely faded. But yeah, you know, I'm not going to make this a long video. I'm not going to repeat what I've been saying the last few days. You guys, if you're not new to the channel, you do know I was looking for a bottom to be putting around this Nvidia event here, you know, at the biggest day of the year that we get 4 times a year, which, yeah, it's kind of evident. You know, this is the biggest day on SPY and QQQ in quite some time. You know, a wider range than what you had over here. Your Trump 10-10 crash there. Okay, there was 20 points. This is 24 points. Okay, nuts kind of action right here. Okay, nuts action. But yeah, heavy volume over here. The last time you did get a candlestick with, you know, accompanying volume that high, You did just gap up, and you had a 1.9% day the next session. I am not saying that's going to become the case. I really hope that's not the case, because if that happens, you're still expecting bounces to be sold. We want that weekly 21 EMA on both SPY and QQ to be tested. If price just rockets back up here, end of week, I don't think they're really going to turn that what we just had today around. I really don't think that's possible. But it would be pretty crazy up until they decide to dump it. You had a hammer candlestick over here on the weekly time frame. If they managed to close out the week like that, guys, that would have been 3 lower wicks off the weekly 9, and then you would have a bullish reversal candlestick printing right there. It would have been a completely different picture than what we have right now. But yeah, not going to make this a long video. I just want to come on here and say I do think downside is limited. This is the scenario we were talking about, where you end up dumping around Nvidia earnings and you get your capitulation style sell. And, this might have been it, but I'm pretty sure we do come a little bit lower. I would like you to come a little bit lower. And that's really it. You're expecting this bounce that's happening right out here. Okay, if you're not coming down a little bit lower right away, you are expecting that to be sold. Until proven otherwise. Okay, and I'll let you know when things are starting to shape up. But, really, once you take out one of the last, the previous week's high, that's when you're probably done correcting here. Okay, but as of right now, that just is not the case. It is not the case. You are currently down from the high about 8%. People are like, oh, Henry, you're saying a correction. Isn't it over 10%? Guys, we all know what a correction is along, the broader trend here. It's correcting. It's pulling back to the moving average. It's gone, too far, too quick. It's a correction, okay? But yes, by definition, you got 10%. And what do we got? Just about 10% there on the NASDAQ already. If we come down a little bit lower, we'll be a little bit closer there. Okay, but yeah, let's go over levels here. SPY QQQ. All right, on the downside, we have 583.32. Underneath there, 578. On the upside, 594.59, 599.74, 606.16, 614.03. My bad. SPY on the downside, and honestly, I'm just gonna say I do think we're gonna be bottoming right around the current level. I really do. We have the weekly 21 sitting right below. It is probably going to end up holding. Okay. But what do you do? What do you have on the downside? You have 652.84, 649.48, and 646.19. On the upside, 657.11, 661.21, 665.12, and 670.23. Like I said, I don't want this to be a long video. I'm not going to go over a bunch of trade ideas. You can look at, any stock today besides Walmart and KO that I've been pointing out that dips have been bought constantly for the past few weeks here, past 2 weeks while the market's been misbehaving there. KO continue seeing dips bought over here. I'm telling you, every single day it's been bought for a decent amount of time there. All right, LOY guys, it finally did not end up getting that morning move there today. First day in a little while there, quite some time. Okay, but yeah, KO and Walmart. Other than these guys, there's not too many stocks that are moving up today. But yeah, Walmart ended up hitting the jets as the market wanted to hit the decks. But yeah, okay, that's buying QQQ. And just to be clear, downside is limited. Daily RSI is coming into oversold territory. VIX is about to be spiking over 30 over the previous high of 28.99. Daily RSI is getting into overbought territory. Okay, you are now seeing the Magnificent 7 stocks come down into oversold territory. You have IWM, DIA. Daily RSI is coming down into oversold territory. Does not mean you cannot keep falling. I really would like them to just get it over with. They continue to sell 1 to 2 more sessions. I'm telling you, you do have a major bottom being put in. And at a minimum, okay, by next week, we're looking for a 3 to 4% bounce from this week's low. So no matter what, we are looking for that. Even if it's just a dead cat bounce, that is quite a decent move there on SPY and QQQ, specifically QQQ there. But yeah, more likely you're going to get a larger bounce going on from similar levels to where we are right now. Okay, right now, very heavy volume there on DIA. If you just mark that out, go like this, we'll go like this. Okay, we'll see. When was the last time you had that much volume? Over here. What happened over here? We'll just take a gander right here. Oh, it was the day bottom, and you had a little volume spike going on before then as well. And that is when, volume spike started. But yeah, point is, you're probably going to be bottoming over the next few sessions. We're probably going to be carving out our bottom. And that's that. That's all I really want to say in this video, okay? That being said, everything kind of, that's why I'm not going to spend too much time here on individual tickers. I don't see a reason to. But yeah, Google ended up having a massive move overnight, faded the whole thing and more. It's the story of every single ticker you're going to look at. Daily 21 rejection over here on Tesla. Honestly, Tesla is one that I didn't think it was going to matter what the market was doing. I was expecting the balance to be sold here. If you want, a nice short over here at Tesla over the coming weeks, have at it. I don't think this weekly 21 is, I think it's going to hold on the indices. I don't think it's going to hold here in Tesla. There's that. Apple got really close to 277.32 and then fully reversed, and now you're back to the bottom of the range. Okay. Looks like you might break down a little bit lower there. You might get underneath that low from yesterday. Meta really hasn't moved. Amazon, okay, now it's fading the entire move, but yeah, daily RSI is getting down to where it was bouncing the last few times. So yeah, we're probably pretty close to that taking place over here. Microsoft, oh sweet baby Jesus, okay. Does anybody remember this? Anybody remember this? Okay, we had this little zone drawn out right here. Yeah, daily RSI is now oversold. I do think we're right around the corner from a bounce there. Big bounce on the upside. Does not mean it doesn't get sold, but it does mean, tomorrow/Monday, okay, into next week's high, we're looking for 3 to 4%. Okay, tomorrow into next week's high, which is probably gonna start the week off with that bounce. That's the move. Okay, Nvidia, oh, it's butt ugly, but you come a little bit lower here on this daily RSI, 37 over here on the daily RSI. That's where for years, about 2 years now, you have been finding buyers, and you get a 10% plus bounce over the next 1 to 2 weeks every time but one time. And even if that one time you did get it, you went 14% lower. But yeah, give it literally that 2 week period. Now you're still up over 10% every time over two years here, just about. All right, but that's the video, guys. I'm not gonna go in depth into things. I've been covering it the last few days. You can go back to the weekly update if you want to see what we were thinking over here coming into this week. This is it right here. That's all we were really looking for, and I think we're getting it out of the way here. Hopefully we are going to continue selling tomorrow. It would be ideal. You want to get this move over with, because if you get a bounce from here, I'm telling you for a fact, you do risk seeing it just be that dead cat bounce. That being said, if you get the bounce from here, again, 3 to 4%, no matter what, even if it's dead cat bounce, that brings you 603 up to 608. Okay, 603 to 608, no matter what, that's at a minimum we're looking at next week. Okay, if we're going to start bouncing back today, if we don't continue making a new low tomorrow, wherever that low is tomorrow, we're looking for that 3 to 4% bounce into next week there. Okay, that's what I really just want the gist of this video to be. Get ready for that to be the case. I hope you guys are crushing it out in this market. I you guys are protecting yourself. I've been vocal about it the past 2 weeks here on this channel. If you want to catch the volatility, use the pre-market high-low break. That is as simple as it's really going to be for you. All right, you started breaking down pretty early on the day. You didn't have to get the best entry point. You just had to mark out your pre-market low here. And once you ended up breaking that and the cloud was red over there, it started crossing right as you're breaking under it. Well, what followed? Minus almost 3%. Okay, if there's volatility in the market, either direction here, I'm telling you, this is something that is going to help you catch it. It's not going to pull the trigger for you, but it is something that will tell you, hey, this move is likely happening right here, right now. If you want to tag along and catch the move, there you go. All right, so I thought I'd just throw that in there. If you want to come trade with me, I'm live every day. I was pointing out at the top up here that we were looking for this move to be given back. That was the game plan this morning. Well, not giving back, but I was expecting sellers to step in today. You're just coming into the day with, you had a 2.4% move from the, yesterday's close there at the high. It was not likely to hold. You're pushing also, I failed to mention before, but, SPY and QQ, we mentioned this is just the exact spot you would be expecting sellers. That's why I said you're not completely out the woods yesterday. You're just not. As much as we'd like it to be, you're not. You gapped right into where you would be expecting sellers to step in, which was at the daily 21. You're also from that most recent little leg down here you had, okay, from here down to here, you retraced into the golden pocket. You gapped right into the golden pocket from that move. No matter what, guys, you're expecting the opposing side to step in at the golden pocket. It's discount for that move. So if they're going to step in, that's where they would do so. Well, they did so. And now, from this whole move up here, okay, on the weekly time frame, we could see that bad boy. Yeah, you're in the golden pocket. And it happens to align right here with the, with your weekly 21 EMA. Okay. But yeah, that was the same on both SPY and QQ. They both rejected the exact same spot, which was the daily 21 EMA, as well as the golden pocket 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level of the most recent move down. Okay, and rejection. Okay, but yeah, no need to fear, guys. I'm just letting you know this is exactly what we wanted to see. Okay, you're likely going to start seeing buyers step in around current prices. I think a little bit lower. That's pretty much it. Okay, again, KO and Walmart is the only things really showing strength that I'm seeing in this market today. Okay, KO, it still has not gotten the move that I'm saying I think is right around the corner. I think this weekly candle is probably going to expand. I think they might send it up tomorrow. We'll see about it. Okay. But yeah, Walmart over here, big move on the day. If it dips tomorrow, expect that dip to be bought. Okay. Something like this over here. If not, just expect continuation over here on Walmart. It is likely going to see dips bought in the short term. Okay, so that is pretty much it. Okay, I'm not going to dive into any individual tickers because I could show you pretty much every single ticker here. Yeah, everything, the same exact move today, which was a gap up and then, just completely fade the move. Every single ticker. Doesn't really matter. Like, we could just go down the list here. Every single ticker has the exact same look, which makes you think they will have some more downside. Okay, it's a pretty ugly look. But at the end of the day, it's what I've been saying. A lot of these daily RSIs, they are already almost to oversold territory or are oversold, like Rocky Lab over here. This is what we're seeing towards a major low being put in, okay? A major swing low in the whole broad market, okay? I still think that's going to be the case, and it happens to line perfectly with this weekly 21 EMA test there on QQQ. And that's that. Okay, until proven otherwise, you are expecting buyers in this exact area. Okay, all right, with that being said, guys, I will catch y'all in the next one. Everybody have a lovely rest of the day, and peace.